I'm Steve Gieder, your host with the most weed from coast to coast. And this is Into the Cannabis. And today, I've got a very special guest that I'm excited to talk to and learn more about. But I'm excited to bring to you. It's TT, the manager, in the place to be. How's it going, TT?
Great. I'm excited to be here. I cannot believe this. This is like, wow.
All right. You're in the dabbing cabin.
Dabbing cabin.
That's it. That's where we do our recording.
Yeah.
And today we're live and direct from the Crisp Lounge out here in Eureka, Humboldt County, right on the highway. You wouldn't know because you can't hear the cars going by because we parked back behind the building a little bit off to the side. Thank you very much to the Crisp family for bringing us out here today and letting us do this thing, and for Dr. Pepper for inviting us both to be a part of this event she's throwing.
Dopeness. This is craziness. One day I was somewhere and then all of a sudden she's like, want to do this? And I'm like, of course. And then I'm here.
Just like that.
Just like that.
It's called instant manifestation.
Yeah, instant. It's wild. And I'm a very firm believer in manifestation.
Same.
Very firm believer.
Same.
Speaking it.
I've seen some of your things that you put out there, and that's what attracted me to want to get to know you a little bit more and try to bring some of our energy together, because really it's about, to me, that's what these things are about, is like bringing it together with people. Weed always brings us together, so that's easy. And then we got some special blends here from our sponsor today. We got two fresh J's. There's two in there.
Oh, there are two.
Yeah, two fresh J's, and there's 3 different flavors. You're welcome to pick whatever flavor you'd like to start off with.
All kinds of flavors today.
Let's do it. We got a couple blunts too. You're welcome to spark one of those up at any point.
Do them at the same time.
Whatever you need. We got plenty. Thanks again. 2 fresh J's in the place to be.
Dope.
In fact, I'm going to crack open one of these Cherry Angels.
Okay. You do the cherry, and then I'll do the pink mimosa, and then we can...
We could share.
Yeah, we can.
Because there's 2 in there, so 1 for me, 1 for you. How's that?
That works.
See, that wasn't hard to get it open. We're pro smokers here.
Right.
We call them joints too. Pre-rolls is like, I don't know what that even is.
I don't say pre-rolls.
Pre-roll.
Joints.
It's a re-roll.
They're okay.
Yeah, they're actual joints that are just like cigarette type joints.
I like this.
They're not cones, just a regular old cylinder type joint. Nice round mouthpiece. I can smell those terps already.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you're fire at will there, TT.
Okay, will do.
I appreciate you coming up here today and joining me. It was on a whim. Dr. Pepper asked me, hey, you want to be a part of this thing we're doing? I said, sure, let's do it. She said you could do some interviews, bring the RV and stuff. So I thought, perfect opportunity. Let's see who's on the lineup. And I already knew right away. I was like, that easy, perfect. And TT, thanks again for coming up here and being our guest on Into the Cannabis.
I'm grateful. I am grateful. Spur of the moment or not, I'm super grateful to be a part of anything. I'm down to say yes if I can be there. So
yes, we can. That's how we do it.
Can, exactly.
And that's the name of our parade. Obviously, that's where I was kind of hinting around to. I think that was Obama's campaign as well. So we got to give a shout out to Obama as well, because I'm pretty sure I swiped it from him.
If it's not copyrighted or trademarked, I think you're good.
It's only for satire anyway.
Right.
So I came down a couple weeks ago to Heritage Mendocino. That's where you currently are employed. At least it looked like that to me.
Yeah, that's where I get a paycheck.
Right on. And that's a great crew and a family of people down there that it's great to be in with. You know, in Mendocino, if you want the heady hash, they're the people doing it. They also have a really cool dispensary there, which just got a lounge added to it.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your role there and how you came to be in that spot.
So at Heritage, I'm first and foremost sales bud tender, what we call the position, and I also run the menu, and I help with some of because I have a marketing background. I help with some of the ideas with marketing and the menu and things like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with the social media aspect and Instagram has shut our account down, but so I'm not working the Instagram account currently, but I do menu and things like that.
Right on.
But it's an amazing place. Talk about like So I have not worked a job about a year. Now it's 2 years. It'll be 2 years. Yeah, October made 2 years. And but I purposely, strategically picked to work there. Like when I sent out to work, when I was like, okay, I'll get a job after I cried and sobbed and like, okay, I need a job.
Yeah. You're like, it's time to manifest.
It's time to manifest something. And I was doing all this, applying to other places because I was like, I don't want to go there because I don't want to, meet, because I thought they were cool people. And sometimes when you meet people, it's not the same. So I wanted to keep them in the realm of family.
Right.
But crazy thing happened, and I was like, I'm going to apply it there. And they were like so happy that I was in the store that it was shocking to me. But long story short, March, it's now November. So I've been there 8 months.
Right on.
Doing stuff. It's really dope.
Good stuff. Did you have experience as a bud tender, or like I like to call them, consultant?
Yeah, I did. So 2019, I started working. I left corporate America. I worked for corporate and sales and all this stuff, and I left that world to come to into the cannabis space because I was going through some digestive issues and losing weight and wasting away. And in corporate America, it's like, go take your break and just go to the doctors and do all this stuff. And I just took a total leave of absence. I was like, I'm done with working, I was commuting an 2 hours, and I have to wake up 4 hours before to get to work. It was just crazy. From Fairfield to San Francisco, for people that don't know the geography, it's a long way. And wake up 10 minutes late, that's a whole hour to my trip.
Oh yeah,
and it's stressful.
You got to hit that traffic just right.
You have to hit the traffic, and then
be lucky on top of it. Yeah,
it was just all of that. I was sick, and just sales, and all of the stuff. And I just going through this problem where I couldn't eat, and I was always having these digestive issues. I just took a leave of absence, and then I just decided to not come back.
Right.
And I was just like, just do it. So my best friend was like, "You're amazing." In so many words, you're amazing, and with some bad words in there. And she was like, "You don't need to be doing that stuff. You need to be helping people. You have these gifts, do them." And I was like, "Yes, I'm going to do it." And so I stopped working there and started focusing on me, and got better through cannabis. CannAbyss.
I heard you say that. You said I left that and came into the cannabis. I have it recorded, so I know you said it.
I'm here. But yeah, it was. So but what's really crazy about my story coming back, because I'm from Oakland. I'm from East Oakland. Cannabis in California has always been a thing, but I stopped using cannabis in the Army. I joined the Army a while ago in 2001, and I stopped smoking, and then I didn't start smoking again regularly until 2018,
okay.
2019.
All right, well, welcome back into the cannabis. For sure.
Because of that. When
2019.
I was like bone skinny. I was like, before I was 200 pounds, and I lost 50 pounds in 1 month from this digestive thing that was going on with me. And my aunt looked at me. She doesn't drink alcohol, and she doesn't smoke cannabis. And she looked at me and she said, "You need to smoke weed."
And
she was right. I was like, "You are right." I couldn't eat, and cannabis gave me my appetite, and then I started to be able to eat, and then my mood improved, and I became a better person. And I was like, forget going back to that. I'm gonna look for cannabis jobs, and I found a cannabis job. And
right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. We'll take one chat. We'll take one stop there for 1 second, and I'll. All right, my joint's a little bit shorter, so if you were paying attention from the last cut, you'll notice we have one little clip here because my joint's a little bit shorter. But other than that, I wanted to say to what you were just saying there. Are we live?
Yeah, we're live. We're back.
Are we good?
We're good.
I also found cannabis to be medicine through the appetite scenario for me. I had ulcer when I was younger. At least that's what we thought it was. It was. And just stomach problems, probably from nerves. And I always had problems with my stomach from when I was born. I couldn't take my mother's breast milk when I was a kid. And then I was having a problem just absorbing the the formula. So right out of the gates, I had a stomach problem. Cannabis definitely helps my stomach and helps my appetite, which in turn benefits your entire life, obviously, right? If you're not eating right, you're not absorbing the nutrients from your food, or your like nervous system is like impacted negatively by the food you're continuously eating, then how are you gonna live a good life? You're starting with, block cheese. Like I grew up eating the government cheese or whatever. That ain't no good for you, but that shit tastes nasty. But now, it was good. But all I'm saying is that's not a good thing to build. I never understood that. Why was the government giving you powder milk and some fake cheese if they're trying to give us some food and it's supposed to be good for you? But anyway, I went off the deep end a little bit there, but that's what it brings me back to, right? Like this whole stomach thing. But, and cannabis heals that for me, and it helps me eat better. I've learned to eat what's best for me, but before I understood that more, cannabis helped bring some relief and then an appetite. So I could eat a healthy meal and, digest it properly. There's Dean Crisp. Thanks for having us out here, big old Dean.
Shout out to Crisp Lounge. It's a pretty dope place.
Yeah, it is. It's right on the highway in Eureka. And, so we're talking about, finding cannabis. And you were talking about bringing cannabis back into your life. I might as well hit the rewind button and go where I like to go and try to find out more about like the first times you started getting high. I'll even hit rewind all the way back.
You can go all the way back to the 90s.
Do you remember the very first time you got high and smoked? Yeah. And would you be willing to share some of that story with us? Because I believe it helps us become who we are later in life. I'm sure
it does. And it normalizes us because people don't realize that a lot of us have been consuming cannabis quite a while. But like I said, I'm in Oakland, a California girl, where California has always been cannabis friendly as far as society and culture. Not so much, legally, but I smoke cannabis. My memories of smoking cannabis regularly are with my uncle, as he was one to come pick up the cannabis from Humboldt County, which is like, this is all full circle.
Right.
So,
all right.
So us in Oakland, in the town or whatever, in the Bay Area, everywhere else in the world, as we all know, everyone comes to the Emerald Triangle to get cannabis. And he would bring it back. And when about 13, 14 years old was my actual first experience with cannabis, but my memories of smoking constantly were in Oakland, 14, 15, all the way to 17, 16, 17, being super stoned, super munchies, and thinking that we were hiding it from my aunt.
Right. Do you recall like the very, very first time?
Very, very first, yes. I remember my
sister
and I.
Were you hiding from your aunt at that time?
Yeah, he was the girl. You smoked weed. We smoked. Actually, my very, very, very first. That's what we're talking about. My very, very first time, though, I was in Kentucky, I remember, which is crazy because I'm from California, but I'm an Army brat that we lived in Kentucky, and I got some from the stuff you just get weed. So nowadays it's crazy because all this strain, that strain, we're like, it's just weed. If it has seeds or not, who cared in the 1994?
Yeah.
But I smoked. We got some from my friend's boyfriend's friend in a trailer, and we're smoking in a trailer with some guys like 17, 18 years old. Who knows where they got it? And
some Kentucky bluegrass. I remember buying some weed at a fish show, and these guys were from Kentucky, and that's what it seemed like all the weed from Kentucky they called Kentucky bluegrass.
But we smoked weed, and we got so high, and we were so hungry, and we went to McDonald's and got 20-piece chicken nuggets and an orange Fanta. So every time I go to McDonald's, I laugh and think about that because that was our thing, became the thing.
Right.
The orange.
Understood.
20-piece chicken nuggets.
I have my first time getting high was behind this store called Wawa, which is in PA and Philly and stuff. But every time I see Wawa for the rest of my life, every time I go
time.
in there, I think about the first time I got high. It's a nostalgic thing for me, cannabis. So a lot of times when I'm using the medicine or just meditating out with it, it brings me back. It takes me back certain smells, flavors, a certain high, a feeling.
For sure.
A feeling. Obviously, people remember certain feelings. That's one of the deepest memories that I've read some things.
Yeah, smells and
Right? So it's like, you know,
it's great.
it goes way back. So
The skunk weed days.
the skunk weed days, right? So back then when you were talking about the first times you got high or this, you were like, say 15, 16 or whatever, 14 to 16 area. Do you remember what kind of strains you were smoking? You just said skunk right now.
It was like,
so I'm
it
assuming.
was like whatever. At first, it's like whatever you could get. It was whatever.
Yeah, it
it's
was
just
just good
weed. It was
weed. Yeah,
weed.
it was weed.
It was it good or not, and then it became, was it brown or seeds or?
Yeah, yeah.
And then in California, it's what was I going to say? We were talking about if it's the seeds or not, and then then we got into kryptonite and all this stuff came, and we're like, oh, this is kryptonite, and then Champelli came, and Champelli changed the whole game.
All right, see, that's
Champelli-
definitely something
Champelli
that
killed it.
I never experienced. Even just until last year, I was like, all right, who's Champelli? You know, I didn't understand who. I just looked into it. I was like, oh, I see.
Yeah.
Underground kind of brand of weed.
Back in the day, yeah.
Like dude that was bringing the chronic.
Ron brought the chronic, and somehow I got hold of some Champelli. Somehow we're like, what is this? And it was over. Now everybody's chasing this thing.
Right on.
But yeah, for the longest.
See, when I grew up, like, you couldn't be as blatant as on the West Coast, right? So like I grew up in Philly, and I say Philly and Oakland are similar, very similar to me in a lot of ways, and just the vibe in a sense, right? And just the way people, I don't know.
Yeah.
The way people interact. It's a similar interaction.
I've been to Philly. I have a crazy story about going to Philly.
All right. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah,
and so
you
like
got
the
it.
Oakland thing, being from the East Coast and then moving out to the West Coast when I was like 19, which was like 30 something years ago, almost. And it was just different. People were wily. It's like, you know, it's the West Coast. It's like the Bay Area thing. You know, it's a thing. Hyphy.
It's a thing.
You know, it's like all that
It's
stuff.
because we smoke a lot of weed.
Smoke a lot of weed,
Cannabis.
and it's just blatant, you know. And then California, before weed was legal, it was accepted, and it was you didn't get busted for it. It was decriminalized, is the
Right.
word. And then legal medical, that became real easy to get a medical card, happened in 96, and then they started writing cards and giving them out, I think, in 98. It was about a year and a
Yeah,
half
it
or
was
so,
98,
something like
yeah.
this. So 98, you could get a weed card.
Right
It
when I
was
turned
basically
18.
like weed insurance. So then it was easy to be more blatant and open, but all this like branding underground weed, it isn't new. It's just like Instagram has made it easy for everybody to see it, and it's become more of like a thing, right? Like a crazy. It's crazy.
Right. It's right.
But
almost
what
right.
you're talking about, Champelli or whatever, that's like some underground brand from like
way back in the
late 90s.
Yeah. And then Snoop rapped about it, and then it was even bigger. It
was
just
over.
blew up even bigger. Yeah. So shout out to him, because he was doing a lot of like crazy things back in the day with
Oh,
branding, and he's still in the game now.
Big up Champelli.
OG's in the game, but
Oh,
they,
I'd love to interview Champelli sometime. Maybe I can
it's
come
crazy.
find you.
Champagne, like, how does this taste like champagne? Because everything else tastes like skunks. And that was it. It was over, and no one wanted anything else, and you couldn't smoke until I left, until you leave California. But we're very, we're very blessed here in California, as you were talking about. Yeah. Those of us that aren't, people that stay in California, that are born here, don't realize how different the rest of the country is about cannabis. It's not the same.
No, all the first weed that I was getting was brown, mashed brick weed from Mexico, mostly is what it was told. Who really knows where it came from. But it was always the Mexican weed. And then we started to get really good weed. And the really good weed, when I started to try to figure out what was going on, the really good weed was the Jamaican weed in Philly. And you go to Little Jamaica, which was a section of Philadelphia, and you could roll. I found a spot I could go up, buy a used pair of shoes off the shelf, bring it up to the counter and be like, I want 10.
Right.
10 dime bags, and for $100 they give you 11. Stuff them in the shoe. Hand me the box of shoes. I put the lid on and walk away. And so that was one spot where you could go get the dimes. And usually, I wasn't always trying to run up to that part of town. The cops would pull me over right away because I looked out of place for many reasons. Driving over the bridge is the first part. I'm driving into a neighborhood, and in Little Jamaica, I was definitely, if I was there with one of my friends, I was like one of the two white kids driving in town. That's the way, and the cops would pull you over real quick. Yeah. Take your money, take your weed, and tell you to go back. And that's kind of what would happen. So the risk was like, the risk was just like getting your weed, and you kind of, like, if you're going to get robbed by somebody, it was almost best it was the cops in that case, because they would just take your shit and tell you to get the hell out of here.
Right. And
so you had to go do all that just to get some good weed, which isn't necessary. I'm glad my kids won't have to do that to go get good weed, because to get good weed, we put ourselves in a spot where you shouldn't have to be to get some good weed. Yeah. I mean,
it's incredible how it's changed, like amazing. It's like even in the last couple of years, like it's changed dramatically.
Right.
It's I'm lucky enough to be in both places, to where I've lived in places where it was where there's prohibition, and I've gotten to live here, and I've gotten to experience the Army. I'm just a rebel. So I went into the military because I'm from California. I smoke weed. That's cannabis. I smoke. And 2 times I smoked. Both times we had random drug tests. And the second time I was like, okay, got you, universe, God, whatever. Not doing that again. And I wasn't. So the people I smoked with got in trouble. They got kicked out. They went to Leavenworth. I was lucky enough to not get caught. They didn't say anything. I got through the test because someone forgot to put tablets into the thing, and I got the water, scooped it out, and I was so lucky. And I was like, no more. But it's crazy to go from that, and I smoked twice, and then to go from that to now, it's like police in New York are able to smoke cannabis, and hearing doctors prescribing it, it's amazing. It's a crazy. It's amazing.
It is, yeah.
It's good though. Good.
The rights that have come along with the legalization side of it, and on the medical side has been really what's pushed that in most cases. I think we did weed right in that way. It's part of the reason I think the industrial side, or like the retail world of weed, is still kind of open for organization still.
It definitely is.
Because it came in from this. We were on the medical side, which opened up this whole kind of like, underground or community cannabis side. Yeah. Really, that's where community cannabis came from, was these early medical kind of gatherings or like public meetings around, how could we meet in public around weed, where we're not jumping up and down saying we need it to be legal, screw you, where we're already like, it is, here's what we're doing. It's a different thing. So once medical kicked in, it was like motion. I just remember, the early meetings of medical and how that's evolved and how it's changed so much. But what I guess I was saying is I'm glad it came in as medical, because cannabis is medicine. You can say it's not good for you or whatever, but you can't take that away from cannabis. And that is something that's been from the beginning. That's the foundation of legal cannabis, is the fact that it has medicinal uses.
It does, very much. There are so many people, as we already talked about that as testimony to it, but as a legalization, as more people get exposed to it, as more people get exposed to it, the machine will, of course, it's going to always grab. There's always going to be a machine, but as more people get exposed, it'll get, and the older generations go away.
Definitely.
Things will be changed dramatically, and then we'll learn that it's medicine, and then we'll start to, it'll be that shift into the medicinal, and we'll really be able to pinpoint more of the terpenes and more of the cannabinoids and things that we really should be focused on, rather than the things on the package that most consumers are focused on now.
Right.
But back to what you were saying, to that point, is that retail is very, very open now to, it's an open world, like, where you could come in. What I was saying, I'm thinking because I wanted to say something else, but we were talking on Clubhouse the other day, and I said this on Clubhouse Tuesday, is that you have all of these people that are the forefront to the consumers. We're standing there,
right?
And the consumer comes in, and there are a lot of us. If we're not educated, neither is your consumer, and neither is the consumer going to ever purchase the things that they should be purchasing. And so it is imperative that we get in front of our bud tenders and retail people, because when they ask for recommendations, I could tell them, don't smoke this, and they will never smoke it.
Right.
And it's a bad thing it's bad. You could be nefarious with it, or you can be great, like I am. I'd like to recommend the right things to people.
Yeah. But
they have to get in front of the bud tenders and educate us, educate them.
That's a really good point, and so important. I couldn't agree more. And it is.
That's why I sell these.
There you go. Fire it up. Fire that blunt up.
That's how you sell things.
Right. Yeah. I like blunts. Those ones are made with all cannabis wrap. I was selling a blunt. I went to do it, just what you're talking about, going up to a store, meeting with the crew, training about some products, and really it's that direct interaction with the product and the individual. That's where I need to get to as a salesperson or as a consultant or as a bud tender or whatever I want to reference myself at the time.
Yeah.
I'm just like a person trying to get somebody else some good weed.
Yeah.
And
it's hard.
And good weed is it's different for everyone,
It is.
That's the whole thing about judging weed or judging anything. It's
right.
like the experience of anything is unique to an individual.
I love that about where I work, because we can show people and they can look and experience, and then the percentages aren't blatant. So most people will pick things that they like instead of the things that are higher in the percentage.
Right. It's true, especially up in the North Coast here, up in Mendocino and in Humboldt. We do have a slightly different average client, right? Because a lot of times in the city, people don't even know what rosin is, where a lot of our clientele, they're making it at home. They're bringing us some samples.
Yes, I'm like, that's what I was looking for earlier, is mine that I made, that we made.
Exactly.
my own homegrown rosin. Like, that's the things we do up here. It's crazy. Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people move to this area to do that thing, and a lot of it's been multi-generational, kind of just a part of the community in a lot of these Northern California communities, especially in Humboldt and Mendocino, where we're both residing right now.
Yeah, as transplants. We're transplants.
Yeah, I didn't start there. But that's the thing about evolving, with the plant. It brings people together in these like tribes all over, in these groups, and you see a lot of push forward, and it's moved around a lot. Something that, we had a chance earlier when we were walking to the store to grab something to drink, a little snack to chat, and we realized we both have moved around a lot as kids and youth, or even adults maybe, but for different reasons. And what you mentioned earlier, that you were in the Army. You might thank you. I'd like to say we're just a day or so past Veterans Day.
It's
here.
Today, actually.
It's today. Oh,
it's
my goodness.
Today. Veterans Day. You are interviewing me on Veterans Day.
Oh, my goodness. See, I didn't do that on purpose neither.
Oh, it's all divine, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And I mean that.
So you can put the flag on the Veterans episode.
That's on. It's on. I like it. It's, I really do truly say thank you, because that is a dedication. It's not an easy thing. I don't know. So you could tell me more. But I'm just curious. What you mentioned too, that maybe it was in the family. So
it's an accomplishment.
How did you get involved with that? And
long story short, or short story long. But the gist of it is, I am third generation Army. I had no intentions to go into the military because I have a brain. And so, being third generation, knowing that what the Army was like, I knew that it was not for me particularly. But I was a 17-year-old person that got pregnant with a child, and I had a child, and I was in Louisiana because my dad, he retired, and they decided instead of staying in California, which is good, they went to Louisiana, and I had a child, and so I went to Louisiana with them, and there's no opportunity what year was this? 2000? Yeah, 2000, 99, 2000. There's no opportunities in Louisiana at that time. So I'm like, I'm a smart person, whatever. My dad's like, go in the military, let's just do it. You go in the military, do a couple of years and get out. There's nothing going to happen, you know. There was a war when that happened, of course. I happen to go when there's a war. But that was my actual reason for going, is to go there, get my GI Bill, and take care of my son, stack up some money, and have a better life for my child. And
Understood.
Yeah, that was the motivation for it.
Right on.
But yeah,
Third
generation.
How long was your run?
I did 3 years and some odd, almost 4 years in. I did my first my first enlistment, and then I did part of another one. And we have to talk about that in another segment about why I didn't completely finish, but yeah.
All right, I like that. We'll do that.
Yeah,
on
we'll do another
segment next time. All right, there you go, Lauren. We got the follow up.
But but that was my motivation for doing it. And I went to PsyOps, which was very, 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 very interesting. Very interesting.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh,
what's the interesting part, if you will?
Let me puff first.
Oh, please.
That one I have to. That's a lot.
Oh,
Psychological operations, first of all.
Psychological operations.
Yeah. So we were. It's special units, special forces. It was. When we talk about divine, and I think because people say it's the personality that we have or whatever it is, but my life, if I look back on it, it's like all of these, if there's that 1 in a million chance, it's always going to be me, the 1 in a million. I went in the military. I wanted to do computer stuff, and it wasn't available. And there was a job called 81 Lima, which is a lithographer. You print maps. And now I was like, that would be cool. I can learn graphic design and print maps and whatnot. And I don't have to do all this, go to the field a lot. So I'll do that. Usually it's Corps of Engineers job. You go print maps and that kind of stuff. Not me. I got picked to go to PsyOps. And so I went to psychological operations and printed. If you look up, if anyone you remember the handbills that had like Saddam Hussein and Qusay and all, I printed that. All of the handbills that they dropped on the citizens and all of that stuff, I printed those.
Gotcha.
So yeah, that was my job.
Okay.
To print propaganda for the military.
All right, right on.
In Farsi.
All right. So you've seen a lot of
in
things.
In Arabic. I've seen a lot of things.
Up close and.
Very up close and personal.
Interesting. Did you edit that stuff, or it just came to you? Did you edit those documents, or was it just
no? They come to us. There's a whole operation behind it.
Print this and get it out there.
Yeah. There's people that come and they put the graphics together, and then there's people that approve it, and then it comes to us, and then we put it on the. And if you go to my Instagram, the post that I made today, it shows us in front of the press. Okay. But that was the press we learned on.
See that. Okay. Okay. I get it now.
We learned on that press, and so you put stuff on the press. Well, ours was a little bit smaller than that when you're overseas, but you print it on the press and you print it out.
Boom. Get it out there.
24-hour operations, we called it.
All right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I know who to hire for the street team next time for CannAbyss. We got
all the propaganda I printed.
Get that out there, right? But no, getting the word out there is important, and that's why we do this program too. Is just to get to know people. Part of it's a personal, it's a little bit, something I do for myself. This interview and stuff too. But it's also, I like to share the community of people that I'm around, that I'm learning about and stuff with the people watching this stuff on our YouTube channel, and sharing a little bit about who we really are is a thing that a lot of those people out there, they don't ever get to really actually see that stuff. No. So when we get cozy in the RV here and we get a couple joints deep, we really get to often
I love it.
share pieces. And thank you again for
Thank
sharing
you
something
for
like that.
inviting me.
Because that's not something
don't
easy to
talk
talk
about
about.
I don't talk.
And I'm not trying
You're
to
lucky.
go. Yeah, thank you. I won't keep pushing around.
No, for
but
sure.
I appreciate it.
I will
is what
tell
I'm
you as
saying.
much as you need, as much as you ask, and as much as you can ask me anything. I'm open book to this. So this is actually, I was going to say, first time I've been able to accept being in the military. People going, thank you for your service, because I'm kind of uneasy with it.
Understood.
Whoops, look at me. I was
Oh,
trying to
you're
get
good.
this off. Sorry.
All good.
That's me. That's why I didn't need to be in the military either. Don't give me no guns in the military. You know, I'm clumsy. No.
Oh, understood. I feel you. I appreciate you sharing that. And it is, I can relate a little bit in a way. I'm just trying to relate and understand.
It was crazy.
Trying to, be comfortable with something that's uncomfortable, maybe, because,
Goodness, see, I'm
good.
burning your stuff.
Yeah,
up.
we're good.
No,
No worries. We're good. We're in this together. And we're in the dabbing cabin today.
Yeah.
If you weren't watching this earlier and you're tuning in now,
On Veterans Day.
on Veterans Day with TT, the manager, and we're at the Crisp Lounge in the parking lot in Eureka. We were invited here by Dr. Pepper. Shout out to Dr. Pepper again.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Pepper. Shout out.
We got to see her just a minute ago before we hopped in here to do this little session here. And, man, I'm definitely thinking about these joints, these colorful joints on the table, and Two Fresh J's, our sponsor for today's. And there's some cereal milk, strawberry milk, pink mimosa, and the cherry angel. Right, they're all different blends. Cherry Angel's the cherry warheads mixed with angel food cake. We got strawberry milk as a cereal milk and some other strawberry cross. Sorry, I don't know what it was. This pink mimosa's pink runts with the mimosa and delicious.
Mimosa.
Maybe
Definitely mimosa.
I'll trade you this
We're gonna
cherry
trade.
for a mimosa. There we go.
Sure.
Boom! Look at that. That's why there's two in there. Not it's one joint's not enough.
No, you got to share.
You want, if they're fresh, you want two fresh J's. So we were talking about cannabis, how the first time you got high, and some life experiences moving around, and how moving around was part of being a military family in a sense. And then as an adult, you made some choices too to get in the military, do some more moving around. And we're at the point in the story where it's like you're coming out of the military like almost 4 years later, right? Or at least, we could be at that point. But I'm just curious, like, how did you get out? Was that part of your plan to be there for 4 years? Like,
it was that GI Bill and get out, and I got in, got a lot of secrets, got a lot of crazy stuff, and got out crazily. But and then I got into a friend of mine, not a friend of mine, my ex's, not at the time I was with, friend of my ex now, or my boyfriend at the time, was doing resets. And I was like, what is this? And she was looking for a reset team. And so people to put up stuff and displays in the store.
Okay.
And so that's what I did when I came out. And I went from being in the structured of to being able to be creative and put up stuff and learn how companies put things in places and why things are colored this way and why things are that way.
Right.
And I was like, I love this.
Yeah.
I really, really love this world. And
I never went to school for marketing, but something I learned, I call that like merchandising or whatever from the retail side. I'm talking about the same stuff. Yeah.
Yep. I got
I
into
love
the world of
that too.
merchandising.
It's all about, it's the same thing. It's psychology. Yeah, it's psychological shit.
And so I went from the military psychological operations to marketing psychological operations, and I like the marketing psychological operations.
Right. Well, you said you thought you were smart and had to use your brain, so that makes sense.
But I love that it was very creative, and it let me be free and be able to come and go. You can go to the restroom when you want. You can put things up. It was just, I love that. And so it just led me into the next thing, which was doing things for gift stores. Like I was telling you here, I was like, it's crazy full circle that I've been here before, because I used to come up here years ago because I did merchandising for Black Hawk, which is a company that puts the gift cards inside of the stores.
Yeah,
all around the country. So
that's
it's like
cool.
all full circle.
I've always enjoyed marketing and the branding and the psychology behind why people make a decision. And if you're making decisions with your money, you know, there's sometimes a lot goes into those decisions. And for somebody like me, I'll walk around in this. I was doing it yesterday, definitely. And my wife, Sasha, hey babe, love you. She's probably like, yeah, no shit. That's why you take so long at the grocery store. You're working in circles, looking at the same shit over and over again to see how many ounces. And, you know, I'm breaking that shit down to ounces. If you're trying to give me a deal, I'm going to get the best deal. Like, I was looking at waffles yesterday.
People,
no bullshit.
I'm looking at the...
Lauren, you got mouths to feed over your house, dude. Discount grocery there, dude, in McKinleyville. If you need waffles, man, that's the spot. You got certain things, you know. You have to find the right stores that have different deals.
My mom and dad used to laugh at me. They're like, they called me the coupon queen because I was the first one to have all these apps with the stuff, and I would then we go somewhere and they're like, wait, that was $10. And the coupon queen.
What was that early coupon one?
I was Shopkick. There was Shopkick and there was some other. Oh my gosh, there was so many.
I always had a friend too. I'm like, yo, how do I get that coupon?
I love coupons.
That's funny.
So that was the psychological, but I was the one that put them up in the store. So all of that stuff, I've done so many of those things, and it just helps. It just led me into just where I am now.
Right.
I'm doing the same. TT the manager.
Right. And then in the cannabis space, you know, or the kind of, we'll call it the industry, the retail facing side of the plant. Man, all this stuff's being reinvented because we have an incredible amount of creative minds in the cannabis cultivation and makers side of things. And I know that to be true because I live right here in Humboldt County and I had a grow shop here for the last 23 years. And we've talked about everything at the counter. In fact, I had 5 stores at once, but I guess my point is that I've talked to a lot of people and I'm right in the center of a lot of this, similar to what's going on down there with your Mendo family. A good friend of mine, Shelby, introduced me to Kyle formally, more recently in the cannabis space, in the retail serving side of the plant, so we could figure out how to work together and stuff like a couple years ago. But it's about who you know and the community of people making this happen, but very creative people who thought outside the box, thought, let me do this, that, and the other thing. Problem solvers, artistic, lots of music and physical art, and, you know, lots of all the good stuff that we love in life.
I love this era of being able to be creative.
Yes, it's the cannabis renaissance. That's what I like to say. And I believe it to be true. Right now, I believe we are in the cannabis renaissance. And we're taking it from what it was to what it's going to be. We're going over the Renaissance Bridge, you know, to get us where we need to go. But I really do believe that. So it's this creative piece to cannabis that I appreciate most, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, like smoking this one here, this pink mimosa, totally different profile than that other one I had, and it's already got me a different kind of high. You know, it's like we often forget about the weed, like why we smoke it is for the effects, essentially, right? And like
working
there's a lot
in
of different
hatchery,
effects.
I never forget that. It's always about the terpenes and the smells, and that's what's we appreciate. I'm glad to work there because I get to appreciate that often, and that is one of the things I love about where I do work. But cannabis is so amazing, and as people are starting to get exposed to the plant outside of just whatever crap shit that they get, is that they're learning that there's these different smells and different profiles, and it's like not about, like I say again, not about the percentage, it's about what you like. Same thing. It's like same thing with the wine. People enjoy it for different reasons, and that's cannabis is just beautiful, just amazing all around.
It's a personal experience.
It is.
You know, it's nice to share with others, and it always brings people together. That's how we got together here.
it is.
It brought us together.
It did.
That's
The
for
cannabis, CannAbyss.
CannAbyss and even just the like businesses. We have a micro business here, and we have some of our products in your shop down there.
You do.
But it's nice to actually meet the people behind the thing. So I had a lot of fun coming down there the other day for the grand opening of the lounge, and you get to meet the crew, the inside side of the stuff when you go to people's events and you hang out with and eat food and smoke dabs with people. You just get to really know people, and it was nice to be able to do that. And again, like this event today, these smaller like community events, it's fun. And I'm
such the person, the introvert, and in the sense of the energy, all of the introvert. Like if I'm out a lot, I'm at home like drained. But I don't like my friends or my mentors of old days when I was developing, they call me their antisocial baby, because I would go to events and I'd stand in the corner. So to see this,
right?
this is not the TT that I was years ago, and I took a lot of that, a lot of work. But it's great to be able to talk to you, because the last time we talked, it's when you were talking, it reminded me of, and I'm sorry if I'm not answering a question you asked me.
Talk to me. Yeah.
But I saw you at the CannAbyss you were having the talk with G and B Swizlow.
Yes.
And it's like, now I'm like, wow, how crazy.
I remember seeing you sitting there and being like, all right, cool.
I had no idea that was happening.
I'm going to interview her. I saw you sitting there. I was like, that was it right there.
That's great.
I'll be honest.
Dope.
I was like, oh, yeah, great.
Dope. And I was like, I saw myself being interviewed. So that's why I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So
we manifested that together. No, for sure. I mean, I'm sure I said it to someone as soon as I was done. Yo, we got to interview TT. Probably Lori. Shout out to Lori. Thanks so much for all you do for all of us, bringing us together. But those talks at CannAbyss, we're going to put more energy and have that more of a centerpiece next year.
Amazing talk. And I keep meaning, I want to post it, and I have it actually. It's in the drafts, because I'm an artist manager and I market and I have all this stuff going on. So my posts are strategic and put into place, and then I'll get something and have to post. But it's there because I want to make it strategically. I wanted to make sure that I got the maximum amount of eyes and the right things to say about it, because that was an amazing, excellent piece that I got. And I was glad to be able to get the piece that I got, because I was on break.
That felt good. I think Tom was there too. Tom that does CannAbyss Woodstock.
Oh, yeah.
I believe.
Right,
if I forgot his name wrong, I apologize. I believe it was Tom, but the energy right there was really good.
So good.
Swizlow is fired up. He always is fired up and has heart behind everything he does. That's why I love that cat. I
was looking for something else, and I was like, "Where's the speakers?" And the lady pointed me over, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And it was perfect.
And my good friend and mentor, Ken. The man with the orange shoes. Thank you, Ken. Love you, brother. Ken was orchestrating that. We never did any events there like this before, so we weren't sure how big we could stretch the park, and how loud things would be. And I'd like to say too, like, I haven't had to really ask you many questions on this. Thanks for reading my mind the whole time as you segued into you being a performance and artist manager of sorts. And I'd like to
very much.
And like, I think that's what kind of came together too at CannAbyss.
Very much artist manager. I'll be in trouble if I'm.
And people respect, like, when you see other people in that space doing their thing. I recognize people watching, seeing what's going on, and sometimes I'll catch myself in the event. I'm like, oh shit, I was just over here swinging from a rope to come tie somebody's thing back down over here. And you do all the different things. It's easy to like love and respect what other people do in that space when you yourself are involved with that stuff. And like, there's almost like this mutual kind of thing that happens when someone else is like, oh, I do these things too. So that's what also got me wondering, all right, how about these things? Tell me a little bit more about how you got involved with artist management and or the whole music world as a profession and or love,
definitely.
on the organizational
how I became
side.
TT the manager.
Yes. Exactly.
The exclusive.
Yes.
But I was doing. Well, I'm like, story. Since we have time.
We got time.
Okay. Because I'm like, do you want the short version?
No, dude, we're here. We're chilling. I do this all day.
Okay. So I was working. I'm a marketer, and I was in cannabis, and I wasn't doing like marketing that I usually do, but so I had time on my Instagram account to market, and so I was going to shows in the community, in the local community. I love. If you do not support there are so many dope people in your backyard. My gosh, if you have never been to a local performance, do yourself a favor. The people around you are dope. I promise.
Yes.
I promise.
I second that.
You do it. There are you all.
Right.
My God, I'm like, wow. People are so talented. But I was going into my local area doing at artist shows, and I would promote them before. I would see the flyers and I'd share them and make posts because it's fun. It's easy for me. This stuff is easy for me. And so I would just do that on my spare time, and artists see it. And I went to a show and performance and got to know a bunch of artists. And then I went to one thing and I met artists, and two of them, two artists at the same time said the same thing to me about me promoting their music and help promoting their shows and whatnot. And then they asked me to be their manager, and I was like, what?
At the same time.
That's
unique. I've had this happen to me a couple times. It ain't
time.
about me, but keep going. I'm just sharing the vibe.
Yeah, at the same time.
Two people tell you the same thing at the same time. We're like, shit.
I'm like, well, I never thought about that because I didn't think about that as a job, as doing it, because I knew it was a lot of work, and I didn't think I had the experience to do it, but apparently they did. And so I asked a mentor of mine about Cat B, who was back in the day. I'm so lucky to have so many amazing mentors to be able to just ask. But Cat B he's back with oh my God, I've smoked too many of these with Tupac in Strictly Dope. He was part of Strictly Dope back in the day.
Okay.
And so but he's been a long time in the music business. And I asked him, I was like, what is this? I was like, do I have what is this? And he's like, yes. And when he was like, yes, I was like, okay, I can do it.
Uh-huh.
And so that's the reason I said yes, because if not, I would have said no, because I was done with, like, I had a child and I knew that management would take a lot of energy and time. And so, and then I didn't want to mess up anyone's careers and all that stuff. And
there's a lot of pressure position.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pressure position.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot to take on. And you have someone's career, their dreams and their hopes in your hands. And so when he said yes, I was like, okay, I can do it then. And I said yes. I didn't say yes immediately to both of them. What I did is I did some analysis. We talked and I felt them out, and I actually ended up still mentoring one, but I took another one on as an artist, and we're no longer artist and manager, but I learned so much.
Right?
So much.
I bet.
So much. It's been an amazing journey. And my artists now, Vocab Slick and Real J, shout out to both of them.
Yeah.
Shout out to both of them. They're so amazing, because I feel honored when artists reach out to me to be their manager, because like I said, it's your career, it's your hopes and dreams, it's the thing that motivates you every day. It's their whole lives, and to have someone to ask me to manage that is an honor. So
right.
I'm honored.
Thanks for turning me on to them.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I felt like I should have already known them after I listened. I was like, what? Been missing out. And so, like you say, listen to the artists around you, your local people, NorCal, wherever you are. It's like, there's a lot of good music out there. You got to break outside of what you're listening to every day, because a lot of the mainstream is spitting the same stupid shit.
When I say there is a machine, there's always a machine.
Right.
And being in the industry, I understand the machine. And turn off the radio, go open Instagram. I mean, you can even open Instagram and just search local show, and the thing will do the thing and show you where your local shows are. Go to Eventbrite, go to Google, go to a show, go find your local artists and realize how dope they are. And you'd be like, I've spent the last, 4 years or so without listening to the radio, having to listen to mainstream artists. And then I got into A&R, and I was like, I gotta get back. I gotta get back into the music. But you don't have to. You can spend years without listening to a radio station because without the mainstream artist, because your local artist because the mainstream artist was your local artist at one time.
Right.
So if they're dope, apparently the starving artist in your backyard is dope too.
And I'm glad. I mean, on a quick note too, after producing CannAbyss this year, we hadn't done it in a while, and that was our sentiment again, was like, we really want to put even more local music next year. So we'll have even more regional and local music
maybe
next
some
year.
Other artists that
I think so.
Familiar artists.
Yes. We'll have to definitely work that out.
We'll have to work that one out.
Yeah. Should be easy. Should be easy.
Yeah, I'm just honored to just be a part of their journeys, and I'm that's it. I'm just here.
So what parts of that management do you have experience with? I know management of a group or a band or an individual artist could go from anything from being the roadie to ticket sales to marketing to making the deals, you know, a lot of times. So tell me,
it's different.
There's
for
all
me,
other things too, but
like
what do you currently do for
me?
that? Yeah, what do you how do you currently get involved?
Like you were saying, artist management encompasses so many and I'm like, I'm a talker with the hands, but I'm like gonna have to learn.
Oh no, you're good.
I'll just slap everything. But anyway, artist management encompasses so many things. But yeah, so every artist is different. So every artist that I manage has different needs, and they're all in different parts of their career.
That makes
so what
sense.
Real G needs, Vocab Slick may not need, and vice versa. But mainly I'm doing searching places to book. Vocab Slick thankfully has an amazing booking agent and award-winning. Like I said, I'm so lucky to be a part of the team, but DJ True Justice does a lot of the bookings for him, and I'm so lucky to be able to start learning how to do that because everyone looks at me as amazing, but I'm like, I'm not. There's things I still gotta learn, and I'm learning from him that art. But booking and trying to find sponsors and just trying to make sure they know how amazing they are because it can get tough. I have a shirt. I should have worn that one. There's one that has the quote on the back that talks about what a manager does, where they're your confidant, where you're psychiatrist, where everything, like everything to an artist.
Yeah, right on.
Everything. So
no,
it's
good
an
stuff.
honor.
Yeah, it's good to be able to help others, but you know.
But my thing is marketing.
Yeah, for sure. I love a lot of the stuff you do. It's very. I mean, the first part of anything is getting attention. Right, the first part of a marketing, a sale, anything like this is you got to get the attention.
Learning, yeah.
And I think a lot of the marketing I see recently, just in the world and stuff, it's like they're going out a different way. It's kind of they're trying to be more like cryptic, just like show up in your brain.
It's amazing how they're very similar, and I hear it all. So all of these years, you see, I've gone through interviews and filled out resumes, and it's under sales where you see marketing, and it's under sales departments, and I've always made that correlation, but then I never made the correlation to sales because I come from a long line of sales and marketing together in my jobs. And then Vocab Slick was like, booking is kind of the same thing, and I'm like, what? No, what? Oh.
Right. I mean,
so all of these things are very, very similar to me, and so I mean, very, very similar things that I'm into now. So
I agree with the way that it's. I think it's all part of a sale.
It is.
You know, when I talk about marketing, I often say that. I'm like, well, look, it's all just part of the sale of the or of getting this concept or item to somebody. You gotta sell this thing.
sell this
So
thing.
like, how do we sell it?
Yeah.
Well, we got to book it. We got to market it. We got to
Yeah.
go to the trade show. You
Make
got to
sure, yeah.
make a good price on, all the.
Make
all
sure
the
they know
stuff.
that they're award-winning artists.
That's
Make sure,
right.
you got to make, it's like, you can't, but that's what a lot of artists are missing. They're missing that aspect of the marketing. And so that's what I learned, because when I came into being an artist manager, I would have a lot of people asking me to be an artist manager, and I didn't think people were asking for artist managers. I thought they were a dime a dozen. Like everyone had a manager. Like they were just, I can just pick one up off the street. I didn't realize they were a dime a dozen, and then I didn't realize of course the good ones weren't very, very few.
Right.
But as I came into that, that's the thing that I being in touch with a lot of artists, that they're missing the marketing, and they're missing that aspect of putting themselves out there because they're comfortable with, or one, it's not easy for everyone. Everyone just can't wake up with this idea and go, this is the reel you need to make today and put it out at this time of day, because this is what's like how my brain works.
There's
like
a
with
lot
those
to
things,
that.
there's a lot to it.
Oh, yeah.
Like I can just wake up and that's my brain tells me that stuff. And so, and also people a lot of them rely on Spotify. They think that Spotify is just the be all end all to everything, and that's not it. So I've seen both aspects. So what I do is very, very important as well.
It's hard to get a perspective, I would think, as an artist as well, when you're out on the stage or you're in the spotlight and you're trying to project your specific persona or vibe to actually see yourself the way others may perceive you. Seems to be like it'd be even more difficult to do that in that same moment.
I'm sure it's hard for us as humans, period. And then add on the fact that you're a superstar and you have a hit single, or you have to have that artist ego, and you definitely can't see that. And then you add on top of it that you're not a marketer, and then you add on top of it that Spotify is someone's making 1 million streams on Spotify, and then you add on top of that you've been doing all of this work for 30, 20, 15 years, and then this guy down the street that's making something that you don't like, as far as you think is his art, you think is trash, just puts a song on TikTok, and then next thing they know, they have a record deal. It can get daunting. It can put you out of perspective. So that's what also I get to put the perspective back to the artist.
So if you're out there right now and you're an artist and you got what it takes, but you just need to get to the next level and you don't have a manager,
don't call me.
If she can't help you, she'll know somebody. Right? She knows somebody that can help you. But I would highly suggest that.
I would highly suggest, yes.
Getting a manager.
So what I'm doing now is that I've learned that I can't be everyone's manager, but I am doing other things, like I do consultations, and I'm building up funnels and things to help. What do you call it? Gieder, the GTRs are.
Oh yeah, that
making
GTR will get you.
But I have courses to help artists. Like I just put out a course a couple of days ago to help artists with just the first step of marketing, because I have this thing. My thing is get your fans off of social media.
Yeah.
Because that's not where your fans need to be. The people that you need to buy tickets are not. You don't need them to stay on social media.
Right.
You need other places to get them.
Right.
And there's things that I have built for that and I'm building up.
I like the way you're talking already. I know that sounds like a common conversation we have around our tables when we're doing some of our stuff too.
I'm building them. I have my stuff stolen. Someone stole my laptop and backpack, so it took me a couple of months. So now I'm just now back to my podcast, because I have a podcast out. I have a podcast called Level Up Your Digital Marketing, where I was teaching marketing things like this kind of stuff. It's easy stuff for me, and I'm like, but everyone doesn't know it, so I was giving it for free out.
Right.
And so I have that, and then my laptop got stolen, and now I'm just now back to being able to do this stuff.
Right on. I look forward to checking that out.
Yeah, thank you.
That sounds interesting.
The mics aren't as good as this,
Oh, well, I share. We can share things, I don't watch a lot of things. I'm not the most consumer of things, but I love when I do, I love to meet somebody, see what they're up to, and check their stuff out. So I'll definitely check that out.
Definitely.
And I look forward to you doing some more of those upcoming.
Dope, thank you.
Because little things stick with me. Marketing things or strategic things. There's a lot that goes into being an entrepreneur. And strategy is something that I think a lot of entrepreneurs do not get
strategist.
Props for, right? You're like, oh, they got lucky, you know. Oh, they work really hard, and that must be it because they work hard. Well, shit, everybody works hard.
No, that's imposter syndrome.
There's something happens, something unique. You get lucky, you work hard, all this stuff, but I think there's a strategy inside of somebody's thinking, and their decision making isn't just random. No, you're constantly strategizing. We're just navigating, same kind of thing. But what other kind of things do you get into besides these other all kind of like work related things we've been talking about and stuff? And obviously, you must have a love for music to want to manage people, artists and musicians.
I always hear music.
But tell me a couple things that really keep you going outside of what we talked about so far on a personal note.
I don't know because I don't have a personal life. My life is all vocab slang, LG, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, algorithms. No, what I really love to do is sit with my cats and I sit in the garden.
Yes.
And growing cannabis and growing peppers and growing tomatoes
there we go.
Is my thing.
I
love it.
Nice.
That's my thing.
Great. That's another way we connect. I get it. I
love it.
We just grew the biggest pumpkins we ever grew before.
That's what you brought. Yeah, you brought one to the store.
I did bring one. That's true.
Yeah. The pumpkin. We've had it and we kept it. We put it up and we kept it up too.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, Caspian will be stoked because he helped carve it.
Yeah,
we carved a little jack-o'-lantern. I brought it up on our podium there, Lauren. You'll be happy. I kept it festive for the time. Made our fresh strain stand look a little festive, and then we left it behind. But that's the thing you could do. That's what happens when you grow things. You always end up with extra, and when you have extra things, unless there's something wrong with you, you want to share them with people. So it brings you, again, plants, not just cannabis, but all these plants bring people closer together.
That's how I'm in Mendocino from a plant.
Right.
Crazy.
Right. It is crazy. I've been thinking like
Freak Show brought me up
the
here.
cannabis has us working for her. The Freak Show planted?
Yeah.
Somebody was growing that?
No, I grew it.
You grew the Freak Show.
I was like, I'm going to grow cannabis. My friend and I, shout out to my best friend. She's the one that got me to be who I am. But she's my former manager and mentor, and Alex, her name is Lex CannAquisitive on
Lex
Instagram.
CannAquisitive, shout out.
She's part of the duo we call CannAquisitive because we're always inquisitive about something, and
like
the
it.
Cannabis Inquisitive.
All right.
That's her brilliance. Again,
she's
brilliant. But we started that, and I was like, let's do something. Let's grow. Since I could grow up here, she can't grow. We were talking about the laws earlier. She's in Arkansas. She can't grow in Arkansas. You can purchase medical cannabis, but you can't grow. Home growing is not encouraged.
Not yet.
No. And so, not yet. Exactly, not yet. But so I would grow, and I was like, let's grow something. I love anything weird, crazy, and I heard about the Freak Show, and Freak Show was being released that year, so I got one of them from Dixon Wellness. I drove from Fairfield to Dixon Wellness. I was like, got the plant, and then was following bird extracts on Instagram, and saw this guy on Instagram, and he and I chatted, and and his brother does genetics, and I was like, would you like your brother like a cutting of it? And he was like, yeah, my brother would love the cutting. Came up here, never left.
Right on. The Freak Show. Shout out to
Show.
Whoever bred that. I know Nat brought it to fruition, Nat and Hallie with Humboldt Seeds, and I know that there was, I think, another guy was a partner of the guy that actually grew that thing.
Cannabis Research 2.0 on Instagram.
Yeah, there you go.
We shout out to you and your family and everything you guys are doing. I got to grow their marathon icing this year.
Oh,
It
nice.
gave me lots of seed packs, and I got to grow marathon icing.
Marathon icing.
from
That
seeds.
sounds
I love growing
delish.
from seed.
I grew that freak show too, and that was fun to grow.
How did yours do?
I grew a couple of them, and they were all different
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
One of them of the three, there's 3.
Mm-hmm.
One of them grew like a nice looking bud, and the other ones grew these strangest looking buds.
Tiny
I mean,
things, yeah.
yeah, tiny little
Yeah.
buds and stuff. I think they were autos.
Oh, really?
I think
Are they? I don't know. Maybe.
I think
'Cause
the
they're
ones
so
I had.
weird.
I think. Oh man,
It
I
grew.
can't remember.
I love. Well, they grew weird anyway, but
It was strange
It's
no matter
very
what,
strange,
but
yeah.
a cool plant and a cool thing to see. It blew everybody's mind that I.
it was my first foray into breeding.
Right. So if you haven't checked that one out, check out the Freak Show. It's a
The freak
crazy
show.
genetic.
It brought me up here. It's the reason I'm here.
Right on.
But yeah,
Cool.
we found that thing, and I've been here ever since. And it got mixed up with the Mendo Dope Boys. Male of the Mendo Dope Boys had called Nick B, and I
Okay.
made a girl called Becky, and
Oh, nice.
now I'm mother of a plant, and we back crossed it to something, and now I'm a back crosser of something, and it's
Oh,
like, what
yeah.
the world? Where am I? But it's all
That's cool.
full circle. My
That's-
first major was biotechnology, so I'm
Right
doing
on.
what I love.
So you
Genetics.
get it.
I get to
You
learn
love the
genetics.
science.
I love the science behind it.
Cool. I love the science about it too.
That's why I love seeds.
Same. You,
Mm-hmm.
like when you sprout a seed and it becomes this tiny little thing becomes this, all the different things seeds become. It's really fascinating, and I'm still amazed by that myself.
Me too.
Right
It's
on.
amazing. It's amazing.
To the
You
seeds.
put 4 of them together, you can have 20, and they're all different. They're like your brothers and sisters.
Right.
They all come from the same mom and daddies. If you have the same mom and daddies, but you're all different.
Right.
Same thing, and it's
that
so
simple.
amazing to watch
It
it.
is. It is. When you
So
break it
amazing
down
to
like that,
watch
it's
it.
a lot easier to understand for people. I try to do that often when I'm trying to explain plant genetics.
That's one of my gifts.
Yeah, right on. Talking
Being able
to
to
people
break
so
it
they
down.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been doing that a long time. That's where I come from. I went from that to from the merchandising in the store to selling things to people to
Right.
in the store to phones. Like, it's funny that I have this phone because I've come from Samsung. My first experiences were selling Samsung tablets. I was the reason why Samsung is so powerful now, because I was in the store, one of those people. Get
Right
this
on.
weird phone that's this huge that has this pin coming out of it. They're like, what? Yeah.
Oh, I
That was
remember
me.
those phones.
It was crazy back in the day. Remember how weird that was? People
Little
were like, "You're
stylus
weird." Yeah, people
thing.
thought we were
It's like
crazy.
pss, pss, pss.
Yeah.
That little thing, another thing. It's like,
Oh
whoa,
my
little
gosh, it's almost
keyboard.
2:30. We're gonna be in trouble.
Oh snap! All right, well, I was thinking we probably should wrap it up.
Yeah,
and
it's a great conversation.
It has been a great
We have
conversation.
to do part 2.
We'll definitely do part 2. And if people want to find you, TT the manager out there, I know I've enjoyed myself. If other
Thank
people
you.
have, how they
Thank
find
you.
out what you're up to?
I am at everyone's on Instagram, so go to TT underscore the manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, TT underscore the underscore manager on
Just
Instagram.
like on your
TTR.
shirt.
Yep, just like
Bam.
on my shirt. I
And
wear it.
That's the way to
Branding.
find her. You can also go down in the Heritage Mendocino a few days a
Yes,
week.
go down to
She's
the
there.
Mendocino.
You have to check it out.
See me at local. You can hit bios of all my artists. I'm in there. I'm everywhere.
Right on. Well, I appreciate your
Streaming
time
everywhere.
today. And
All right, thank
yeah,
you.
I look forward to doing more things together.
Awesome. Me too.
Right on.
All right. Good talking to you.
Thanks, TT.
All right.
Boom. Peace.
Oh my
Glad
gosh.
you
I
looked
didn't
at
even
the
notice
clock.
it. I know. I didn't even know it was working.